Here are 3 practical tips to get better vocals no matter which mic you're using. Now at the moment I'm actually recording, and I'm recording my new track which is called Whiskey Jar, and I want to get a really good sound in this room, which is not treated. It's just a room in my house. It's not got thousands of like panels up or anything like that. And for those of you who follow the channel, you know that I like Aston mics, and Aston have very kindly sent me this, which is the Aston Origin. It's a fabulous condenser microphone, great for studio work, and as I said, this is not a treated room, and I want to get the best sound I can without it costing me a fortune. So here are 3 tips to get a really good sound in any room with any microphone. Now the nice thing about the Aston Origin is it has a really nice space-saving idea. So you've got your XLR here, and then you've got this, and this is actually a connection where you can connect it straight to a mic stand. So I've got a mic stand here, and we can just screw this straight on.
Here at the Whiskey Jar, people come and friendships go. Here at the Whiskey Jar, where Friday's fast and Sunday's slow. Here at the Whiskey Jar, I know that I can just be myself. Having another drink.
Now that's all well and good, but the problem is it's still open to the sounds of this room. As I said, this room's untreated. So the first thing I want to show you actually only costs £20 in the UK, and it's this. This is made by Studio Spares. It's £20, and it actually is a huge piece of foam with a hole in the middle. You can see my fingers there. And what you do is you put this over any microphone, and then of course it can't hear the rest of the room. So the idea here is that we actually take this and we place this over. Now it's a smaller hole than the microphone, so you have to really push it on there. And if I just turn this around so you guys can see it, so there we go. Our microphone's now in its own little hole, so we can not take up any of the room. And then you've got the pop shield on top. So then we put this on there, and there we go, it's completely isolated. It's called an ISO cube, and the idea is, of course, that you can have it this way. You sing into it, and it's not picking up any of the air in the room. Now, in this scenario, I'd have that a little bit higher, so we've got a little bit of air at the top here. There's a little air around the outside of it, so it can capture my voice, but not a lot else. And then what we need to do is just pop the pop shield back on, and that is to stop any plosives. So then P's and B's, got a lot of air going through your mouth, and that'll sort of stop that air, but it'll still pick up the sound.
Here at the Whiskey Jar, people come and friendships go. Here at the Whiskey Jar, where Friday's fast and Sunday's slow. Here at the Whiskey Jar, I know that I can just be myself. Having another drink.
Now this might look a little bit unorthodox when you're singing into this thing, but at the end of the day, it actually gets the job done. It's a nice cheap option, and it'll take any microphone as long as obviously it will fit through that hole at the bottom. If it doesn't, you could even cut that hole if you really, really wanted to. But the problem still remains that if I move around and stomp my feet, you're gonna pick that up from the microphone. The mic stand itself, if I moved it around, it's got a little bit of noise on it. So the next option is actually from Aston themselves, and it's called a Swift Shield. So I've taken the ISO cube off, so it's just sitting on the mic stand on its own for the moment. And this is the Swift Shield. The Swift Shield comes in 2 parts. It's actually a cage. If you don't know what cage is, then a cage actually is a piece of plastic or metal, depending on which one you go for. And then there's a place here where the microphone sits into, and we can open these grips to hold it in place. And the center part is actually held with elastic or some kind of rubber. And what that does is it isolates it completely from the outer rim. You put this on the mic stand instead, and then this second part here is a pop shield. So we actually put that on that way, and then we have the microphone inside. So I've taken the microphone off, and then this time we're gonna put this on. So we just twist this onto the microphone stand. Lots of spinning. You spin me right round, baby, right round. There we go, so that's on now. And we find the front of the microphone, which has got a little symbol on the front, and then we hold it down in place and then let go there, and it holds it in place, and it's completely isolated from the outer rim. Then what we've got is the pop shield, and then this pop shield has 2 little sort of prongs on the side there, and we just click it on like so. Now the thing with this is you need to make sure of a couple of things. First of all, that the actual microphone is center and it actually is where you want it to be. And then the pop shield is in place as well. So it could be a little bit out of center. So we just need to make sure it's there. And then the second thing as well is to make sure, I know this sounds really obvious to some of you, but make sure the microphone is in the right area. So I've seen it before where people record and the microphone's like here and they're singing downwards or they're singing up. And it depends on where your neck and your nose is. So for me, I actually like to have the tip of my nose to there, like that, and then that way the microphone itself is actually there. Even if I was to sing really up close, the great thing is there's a little bit of space in between. Again, to take away the plosives, I'd probably be an inch away from that, and then that way singing, and if I go puh, then it's going to disperse there, and then you've got a fantastic way to capture audio without capturing the bottom of the floor or the room around, stop any reverberation going on, and it's a great addition to any studio.
Here at the Whiskey Jar, where people come and friendships go. Here at the Whiskey Jar, where Friday's fast and Sunday's slow. Here at the Whiskey Jar, I know that I can just be myself. Having another drink.
Now the only downside with this is it's still in this room, so you can go one stage further, and this is our third option. And the third option is what's known as a recording screen. Now Aston actually make their own one called the Halo, and you can put it with this together. I don't have the Halo here today, but what I do have is I have one by a company called Mookie, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it on this mic stand. And here it is. Now, it's not the smallest of things, so let's get this mic stand out the way for a second. So this is a 5-panel recording screen, and the idea behind it is if I was to stand here and put this here, then what it does is it's meant to deaden that area. And the great thing is it's adjustable, so we can put it really, really close or really, really open. So hopefully you can see the bottom of this there, and then that bit goes on the mic stand, and then this bit is actually to hold something else in place. And we've also got this piece. What this piece does is it actually goes in between, there we go, this bit here, and then goes in there, and that's actually what you put your microphone on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this with this. Now the other thing as well with the recording screen, you may or may not have noticed it there. If I hold it like this, it's quite difficult to see, but it actually has feet. So if you wanted this on your desk as opposed to on a mic stand, you could do that. So come and have a look at this. We've now got the best of both worlds. I'm bringing this a little bit closer just so you can see it. So we have the recording screen here, and we can adjust this. It is 5 different panels, so I can bring this closer in if I want to, or further away. And then the other thing as well is we've got the Swift Shield, the cage, and I've got the pop shield here. So we've actually got the screen here, we've got the microphone, we've got the Swift Shield. So what this will do is we bring this in, and you have to test it a little bit, is it'll cut out a lot of the room. We can just make micro adjustments, and you can even push this further back. What you can see here is this part here, that's where the microphone is. It can actually go back to here. So we can adjust it very, very simply by just unscrewing that and just move it back, and then screw it back up again, and that's really, really cool and really handy. So now I'm ready to record. All I need to do is just make sure that no major motorbike goes by outside, things like that, and of course, make sure it's a good recording.
Here at the Whiskey Jar, people come and friendships go. Here at the Whiskey Jar, where Friday's fast and Sunday's slow. Here at the Whiskey Jar, I know that I can just be myself. Having another drink.
Now, as I said to you before, the alternative for the Mookie is actually, if you want to stick with Aston, and go with the Aston Halo. Now, if you were to pick yourself up a Halo, the Halo costs around about £260. But if you're looking for a more budget-friendly option, the Mookie, was actually £40, and it does a pretty good job. In fact, I used this setup but with a different microphone for one of my tracks for Tokyo Wasteland. I'm going to leave links to everything that we've discussed today, including the ISO cube if you want to have a play with it, as it's only £20. This thing's £40. The Swift Shield itself, which is a cage and a pop shield in one, is around about £80. And of course, depending on which microphone you go for, will massively change your setup. Now, if the Origin is too expensive for you, have a look at this video because this is the Aston Element, and boy is it good, and wow at the price.